Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, May 10th, I believe, and I'm here for my weekly stitching update. Yes, May 10th. So this is all about cross stitching, and I will be sharing what I've been doing this week and going into next week. It's all about the Mirabilias in the month of May for me, which is different as of late, but really fun. So I've been enjoying it. I feel like because I'm focusing on my Mirabilias to the exclusion of some other things, I've been buying and plotting other things, full coverages and samplers and all the things, but that's okay. It's all fun. There's no time for all of it, but it's still fun to play with it and start all the things, and that's what you're gonna get on this channel. So let's just dive right in. I have a few acquisitions and things that I can share with you guys. So we'll do that first. First off, I got some extra travel scissors for Mother's Day for my husband. So these are, I think one of them might be curved. I think the purple one's curved, but I have one like this that's actually purple that I bought from a fiber fair that I went to in Pasadena a couple years ago, and I really like it in my travel bag, and I wanted another one. So Amazon had them in 2-packs. So I was like, okay, let's get some more of those. So that was fun. That was one Stitchy related Mother's Day gift. A couple other things that were not Stitchy related. I also bought a fabric from the hand dyeing duo. I think that's, yeah, the hand dyeing duo. If you have seen, or you should see, Georgia Stitching, is a mom and 2 daughters who make Flosstube videos, and the mom, Cindy, she has beautiful projects, so many projects, lots of big wonderful things to look at, and her daughters also do a little bit of stitching and crafting, but they also have decided to start a fabric dyeing business for cross stitch fabric. So they had their first release of fabrics available on Instagram, I guess a week or 2 ago now, and I snapped one up. It's a 28 count even weave. It was a smallish piece, and it's really pretty. It's like a tealy blue. It's a little more saturated than what's coming through. As always, things kind of get washed out sometimes, but it's really pretty. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do on it, but there's a lot of options, and I'm really happy with this. So thank you, girls. I did see on Instagram she's gonna post, or they are going to post, I think they said 16 and 18 count Aidas tomorrow on Tuesday. So if you head over to Instagram, it's the hand dyeing duo. I'll try to put the tag, their handle on the screen here, so you can go check them out if you're interested in 16 or 18 count Aida. This past time they had Aida and even weave, so I think they're just doing different types of fabric with the different releases that they'll have, and it'll be like a me please situation over on Instagram. So check that out if you're interested in that, and I'm really happy with that. It's really cute. I also received my most recent installment of the Fat Quarter Shop's Prim Stitch series. This is number 11. We're getting close to the end. 11 of 12, and this one is called Gratitude and Grace, and it's got like a cake stand with some pears on top and some blue flowers, which are pretty, and of course the obligatory quilt stars that are on all of them. So that's fun, which is timely because I finished my other one last night. So I'll show you that in a minute, but now I can start this today, so that'll be fun. I need to make sure actually to get this where it needs to go, so I can start that in the valet lane today. I also got a Pass a Stash from Donna, one of my viewers, and she sent me a Mirabilia pattern, and I actually am not interested in stitching this particular one. It's pretty, but I thought instead, since it's Mirabilia May, I would offer it to you guys. She found it at a thrift store, so it is lacking the Mirabilia envelope and picture. So I'll put a picture up here. So it's Sleeping Beauty. And so this is Mirabilia number 5. And I have the symbol key here for you to prove I have it. It's all one big piece. It looks like it's in good condition. I'll show you the back, because it's all on the front side of this paper. It's not a two-sided one, which is actually kind of nice. So when I'm going to do a giveaway for this, and you can say Sleeping Beauty. I'd like to stitch Sleeping Beauty. And I will include a picture of the cover and maybe put it in a plastic bag or something, just so that it's protected a little bit, I guess. But you will, yeah, just say I'd like to stitch Sleeping Beauty, and I'd be happy to pass that along on behalf of Donna. So there's your first giveaway for today, courtesy of Mirabilia May. So I also have some things from the Fat Quarter Shop, which most of them I think I'm going to pass along to you guys. Let's see. This one, there's 1 quilting one and 3 cross-stitching ones. So this is the first quilting one. And I'm actually somewhat tempted by this one to keep it, but this is called On a Winter's Day, and they have multiple sizes. It's stitched in really pretty reds with some triangles and things. This is a mock-up, or the example of the entire thing. And again, they all have a list of the suggested fabrics if you want to make it just like the cover. I think, again, I'm going to pass on this one just because if I'm going to pick up quilting in the future, I want something really intricate, just because I'm a glutton for punishment. So you can say winter if you want to be in the drawing for this one. All of these are just patterns, so I will open it up to anywhere in the world for any of these, and just have the keyword in your comment. Please don't say giveaway or free or winner or drawing or any of those troll happy words. So this one you could say winter if you want the quilt pattern. Then we have number 10 of the Love and Friendship Prim Stitch series, Love and Friendship, which I still have my copy. This is an extra one. And you can say cat for this one, since there's a cute little kitty cat right there. And this is a cross stitch pattern as well. This is the ones I'm doing I'm playing with specialty stitches, but the actual pattern is all cross stitch, and it calls for either DMC or RE floss. So they have the conversions there for you. And this one is pretty, but it's not necessarily my style. It's called Fresh Cut, and it's one of the ones that was in a Stitch Quarterly recently. So I don't know if they say what month that was. I don't know. This one actually calls for Cosmo floss, which I've actually never used, but I've heard good things about. So this one's called Fresh Cut. It has Cosmo numbers here, which I'm assuming you could maybe look online to get a conversion if you only have DMC or something, or just pull some flosses from your stash that look pretty together. So that's Fresh Cut, and I will say flowers for this one if you would like to be entered for this one. And this is the Christmassy cross stitch. Again, it's cute, but not necessarily my style. So Peppermint Lane is what this one's called. This is a larger 8.5 by 11 sheet. Most of the Fat Quarter Shop's patterns are like half size. This is a full size one, and it has DMC called for this one. So this one, I guess we can say Christmas for that one. So if you would like this pattern, say Christmas. And again, anybody anywhere in the world can enter for these. So Christmas, flowers, cat, winter, and the Mirabilia, you can say Sleeping Beauty. So I guess there's 5 things that you can enter for. If you want to enter for all of them, that's fine. Just make sure you have the keyword for whichever ones you want, just because I'll be using the random comment picker with the keyword in there. So that's what I'm not going to be tallying manually. There's just too much, that'll take too much time. When my channel was smaller, I could get away with that, but not so much anymore. oh yes, you can only win one. So if your name gets called a second time, I'll move on to the next one, just to try to spread the love a little bit. I think that's everything I have to share with you right now. I did some, I guess I could say, I was playing with the fabric that I got for flea market flowers. This is the one that was my previous giveaway. I'll be mailing these packages out tomorrow, hopefully. I finally got everybody's information. So the fabric that came with it is barley, 25 count. And since I'm stitching mine over one, because that's just what I like to do, I'll have a good chunk of the fabric left over. So I was thinking, well, I'm finishing Quick Stitch Iris pretty soon. So that's 1/1 on 25 count. It's the only one I have, only full coverage I have that's 1/1 on 25 count. I probably should have another project to replace it on that's 1/1 on 25 count, because it's been a really fun experience. So I think I was looking up, I have a project that I'm planning to start for my birthday. At this point, I'm still leaning towards doing this for my birthday. Plans could still change, but this is the plan right now. I'm going to start Hibiscus Fairy in September for my birthday, and I thought, oh, that would be fun. I could start that on there, and then I realized it's pretty big. I didn't realize it's 400 by 566, so it would take up the entire piece of fabric and only have 1-inch margins on each side, which is doable, but not ideal. So I figured, well, maybe I was thinking instead I'll probably do this on 28 count, and it'll be slightly smaller, and I have a piece of fabric that I think will work well for it and give it a little bit more margin on the edges. And so then I was calculating some of my other full coverage patterns I have that I have already have, but I haven't paired them with fabric or started them yet. And I found one that would work perfectly on the remnant of fabric that's left over after I cut off a piece for flea market flowers. And that is Mini Elegant Lady with a Bouquet, I think is what it's called. I'll put a picture here because I haven't actually printed out the cover page for it yet. I might actually be able to show you. Hold please. And that's this one. This is Mini Elegant Lady with a Bouquet. And I was gifted this by Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher. She has a copy of it too. So at some point, because this is a mini, it would fit on the extra fabric. So I'll do this 1/1 on 25 count, whenever that gets started. I don't have a plan for when that gets started, but I could at any point. So I had to share my playing that I had done with my fabric stash. So that's always fun. Okay, so we'll go forward now into what I've been working on, since that's what you're here for, mainly. I did not work on my temperature typography at all this week because May has a lot of days in each letter. So I have on this is one of my temperature pieces that you can find in my Etsy shop. I have gardens and trees and all sorts of things in there. Every stripe of color that you see is a day of the year. And so September has the most letters in the month. So there's like only 3 sometimes on some of these letters, 3 days per letter. So the chunks of color are very big, but May is the shortest. So the chunks of color are very small. I think there's just 1 stripe for some of the one like row of a single row of X's per day sometimes. So I prefer to stitch the days once I've collected all the temperatures for that day in case there are duplicates, and I can just carry my thread and not have to start and stop as often. So when I printed out this calendar online earlier, I put marks where each letter encompasses, which days each letter encompasses. So I have a long way to go before I can do the first letter of May. So I will actually wait until the 11th because I want to get the final confirmed high temperature for the 10th before I can stitch. So the 11th is tomorrow. So anytime after tomorrow I can stitch the first letter, but so far not yet. So this is the first day all year, or the first Flosstube all year that you haven't been able to see that, but that's okay. You'll see it again next week. Lord willing. Okay, so going forward, I have my finish on the Prim Stitch series number 10, Love and Friendship. So this is my copy of the cat one. And I just was on a roll, and because I have my time in the valet line now, I had a question about that as well, because some people don't have the same drop off and pick up like situation that other schools do. And so there are the way my elementary school works, and I even have about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes waiting for my middle schooler as well. But the way it works, because I drive to pick him up, I live far enough away that I can't walk. The line of parents waiting to pick up gets really long and winds way back into the neighborhood. So rather than arriving closer to dismissal and being in the back of the line and kind of inching your way forward for 15 minutes to get to your kids, and they have to wait for a long time outside, and I don't get to stitch because I'm inching forward in a car, I'd rather get there early and park for 15 minutes and stitch, and then my kids are, don't have to wait quite as long to get picked up. So it kind of is a win-win for me, and I get to stitch a little bit and they don't have to wait as long, and we're out of there. So I just time my waiting to be more useful waiting, I guess. So that's been fun, having that time back to be able to put towards my travel pieces. So it's really helping. This is my finish, which only took me two weeks to finish because of all that extra time. So that's really exciting. So this is my Love and Friendship by the Prim Stitch series by the Fat Quarter Shop. It is stitched 1/1 on 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim, except I have added some specialty stitches. So you can see the kitty is done. I did that in Smyrna crosses, and this is like a road stitch, and then I added just some straight stitches for these leaves over here. So super cute. I really had fun with that one, and it went really fast. So I'm hoping that the next one, which I will get to start today, will also go pretty quickly. And then my plan is I might start because the flea market flowers technically is going to be a stitch along with the Fat Quarter Shop starting in June. I think June 2nd. It's going to be every Wednesday. They'll do a new part. They'll start working on a new part. I will hold off on that until June, but if I finish this Prim Stitch, this new, let's see, where's my new one? If I finish this one, which is the one I'll start today, before June, which is likely at the rate I've been going, I'm going to probably go ahead and start my spring roundels that I received and get started on that rather than wait until June. So roundels, friend, if you are up for that, I'm thinking I might start that a little bit sooner. I don't know, I'll let you know when I might start that, because that would be a nice one to do in the car as well, since those are small. So going forward into the fall, my plan is when the Prim Stitch series is finished and the Flea Market Flowers is finished, the spring roundels are finished, all of my springy, summery looking projects are finished, I won't have my travel stitching, I won't have the valet stitching during the summer, obviously, because my kids are home. But once school starts again in August, I'm planning to make my Brooks Books Advent Animals my travel stitching, because I think that will be really fun. They'll be able to get a significant amount of progress done on them. They're on 18 count, so they'll be really easy to do in the car, and there's a lot of little ones. So hopefully I'll be able to get a few more of those finished before Christmas. That would be really, really fun. So that's kind of my plan going forward for travel stitching. And then I have my Mill Hill, which I got to start beading last week. So yay! This is Buttons and Beads, Winged Monarch, and I'm going to be doing, hopefully I'll be doing a 12 of these, one for each month, and kind of switch them out in a frame every month. And there's so many to choose from. They just came out with a whole bunch more for autumn. Every season they come out with more. So I have earmarked ones I liked ones I like so far, and I have several of them. There's still a few more on my wish list, but I suppose the ones I don't already have might be subject to change. Or potentially I could end up continuing and doing more of these and like either having 2 frames going or like switching them out every couple weeks, you know, just because, you know, sometimes it's just really fun to stitch all the things and you need a reason to do it sometimes. So I was able to start beading this week, and I didn't get as much done as I thought. This is going to take a lot longer. I may very well not be able to finish this in May like I had expected. Beading Mirabilias goes really fast for me, partly probably because I bead as I go, so it doesn't seem like this big monumental process. It's in chunks, and I also bead with a half stitch most of the time. This has, a lot of them are petite beads, which the design recommends doing a full cross, and I decided to try it, and the very first color I chose was black, and I'm glad I did it the way they suggested. They suggest 2 strands, full cross for petite beads, and because the black is so dark on the light perforated paper, it has coverage issues. So I think if I were to do a half stitch or a 1-stranded full cross or anything less than what they're recommending, it would be obvious and not as nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do it the way they suggest. It'll just take a little bit longer, but it'll be fun. So here it is compared to last time. I'm doing called for everything, perforated paper, floss beads, and you can't see that well, but there you can kind of see I did the outline of petite black beads in here and around here, and I think I can feel down to here. So I still have more outlining to do on this wing, and then I'll probably do the body of the butterfly. So if you can see some of those dimensions. At this point, it's more just like dimensional cross stitch, because it's, you know, a little bit shiny cross stitch, because it really is understated at this point. But I think it'll be really fun, and I'm excited to do a little bit more on that. I have my beads in my tacky bob. I did put 1 pack on one side and 1 pack on the other side, and I'm just picking them out as I go. The colors are distinct enough that they follow the color names in the instructions that I don't feel like I need to separate them out ahead of time. I'll just pick them out from the pile and it should be good. So I'm excited to do a little more on that today because it's Mill Hill Monday. And my other 2 like bonus pieces that I've been working on, yes, I said 2, on, I think it was Tuesday. So I did Mill Hill Monday, yeah, last week on the 3rd. And then the 4th was May the 4th, be with you, Star Wars Day. And I'm not personally a huge Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars. My kids love Star Wars. I actually have a Star Wars piece. So I figured, well, I have to do my Star Wars piece on May 4th. So I went ahead and pulled out my Visit Endor travel poster by Country Magic Stitch. And I did this for my bonus stitching that day instead of Quick Stitch Iris. So I did 1 length of thread, which got me almost 200 stitches. I think it was 198 stitches. If I had known I was that close to 200, I would have done 2 more stitches before signing off, even if I had to play thread chicken, but it's fine. I had cut my thread before I updated Pattern Keeper, and I didn't realize I was that close to an even number. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So I'm up here, I'm stitching, you know, as I've been doing, picking colors, top to bottom, left to right. So the Death Star is actually finished, but the next things that are not stitched this time was this dark green in the tree. So that's what I did. I did 200 stitches almost in the tree on May the 4th. And that's where I got to. So hopefully I can find a previous picture so you can see how much that 200 stitches actually was over here in the tree. And this is on 28 count Dove Gray Monaco 2/1 half stitches. That's another reason I got so many stitches out of one length of thread, is that it was a half stitch. So, and it's tiny, so it just kept going. Got quite a few stitches, so that's fun. So I am doing that for my oldest son, and he definitely needed me to do that. He's like, yes, of course you need to. So I did that on Tuesday as my travel piece, or not my travel, my bonus stitching. And then I went back to Quick Stitch Iris for the rest of the week. Oh, I did have the printout of this. So there you go. Heaven and Earth Designs Mini Elegant Lady with a Bouquet. I have too many things in here. There we go. Here is Quick Stitch Iris by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is my focus on a finish. I should probably finish this in the month of May, towards the end of the month probably. Because I'm only doing at least 65 stitches a day, except for Mill Hill Monday and apparently Star Wars Day. So it's coming together slowly but surely, and I am enjoying working on this, but I am also enjoying working on my Mirabilias. So it's nice to do a little bit of both. So here is where I am now this week. This is on 25 count, 1/1 full crosses. So that's why I felt like, and I am really enjoying this one. Most of my pieces are on 28 count now that I start, and I have a few on 40, some on 25, but they're half stitches. I have some on 24, some on 18. So I felt I needed another 1/1 full cross 25 count piece when this one is finished. So that's why I think I'll do that Elegant Lady with the same size fabric. So down here is all that's left, and I am doing this one where I pick colors top to bottom, left to right, and then work the string until it gets finished, and then I keep going. So it's really fun. Getting close. See a finish. See, I can see the finish line. So there we go. That is all of my random stitching, and then we can get into Mirabilias. So this past week, I finished up my rotation on Lady of the Mist. Which is my new start that you all voted for. Well, not all of you voted for her, but she won the vote that you all participated in. And I had, let's see, I had one more day on her beyond my video. So this is where I got to. This was on light denim, 32 count linen, Belfast linen by Color and Cotton. So I finished off those roses. I think I did a little bit more in the leaves up here. So that's what I did on that Monday. Not a ton more, I guess, but I think that's a decent start. So that's fun. Next time, like I said, I'll probably work more on some of these leaves, but I'll also maybe go to the other edge and work on some of these other flowers as well, so that, you know, I can get to her face. So it'll probably take several rotations of working on this before I get enough done over here that I want to like move over here, because I don't think I've started this little bit yet. I've only done this part. So I'll probably do that next, and then I'll move over and make sure this is counted accurately, and then start on these flowers before I start on her. So it'll be a process, but a fun process. So I am enjoying this fabric. I think it was a good choice for a misty looking fabric, since she's in the mist. And I have fun with that. It's been different stitching 2/2 on all of these Mirabilias, because I'm so used to doing my 1/1 stitching for full coverage pieces, and all my little travel pieces are usually 1/1. So it's been a little bit different. And then I started on my alphabetical plan through all my other Mirabilias. So I started with Adia, the Garden Fairy, and I gave her 3 days. And I'm pretty happy with how far I got on her. She has been a little bit of a trial, I guess I should say. I started her, I realized, probably almost 10 years ago. And here she is compared to last time. She's on the called for 32 count dirty linen, I believe. 2/2, as all my mirrors are. And I started her about a decade ago, and I remember stitching her at my mom's house when I started her, and she wanted to see this wing get started. So I just had like a tiny bit. I probably worked up from the middle, did a tiny bit, and did the wing when I was with my mom. And then later worked on her a little bit, but the confetti in her hair is in the roses is ridiculous. Like when I came back to work on it this time around, I found one symbol that was the only place in her headdress that color was found, which is not that typical of a Mirabilia. So I am pleased to say that her head area is done. Good riddance. It's gorgeous, but it kind of made me not want to work on it because it was such a trial. I don't use working copies on my Mirabilias. I don't mark up my Mirabilias. So it was really hard to do the confetti, and I was kind of being stubborn and not wanting to like cave in to make a working copy. I was just gonna grit my teeth and get it done the way I always do my Mirabilias, but it was making it so I didn't really want to ever work on it. So thankfully that head is done. And then I came over and started working on this other wing because I do want to work from the top down and get that area finished before I do more of her. I do have a little bit of stitches that I added in her dress and the straps just because they were finishing out some strings that I was using elsewhere. So that is exciting. So this one hopefully will be able to come out a little bit more often to play and make some more progress on her because she is beautiful. And I realized when I pulled her out that she's not that big compared to some Mirabilias. So I'm thinking Stargazer is probably the closest to a finish as far as her size goes. Villa Mirabilia has the most finished, but she's still enormous. So I think she would take longer to stitch, but Stargazer is probably the quickest, but Adia might be second, and then Villa Mirabilia as far as like order of ones that I might want to focus on to get them finished so I can add in more. And I don't know how strict I will be with myself at not having more than 10 started. I should be good, but you know me, that doesn't always happen. I have 20 full coverage pieces started and I'm still thinking about starting more, so you never know what's gonna happen with me. So anyways, that was fun working on her. And so the next one I worked on is Ashley's Roses. And this is another one that was kind of annoying because I started up here in the top and it was kind of, these pink splotchy bits are a little challenging because they have so many different colors, and I was noticing on working on it this time that some of the symbols are very similar to your eye. The two that bug me the most, there's a 3 and an S, and so they're both curvy, and they're curvy in a different way, but when you're just looking at them, it's really hard to pick it out and understand which one you're looking at. There were multiple times where I would look at the S and think it was a 3, or look at the 3 and think it was an S. I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, it's one thing when there's like arrows that go the different directions, that's bad enough, but for some reason the S and the 3 were just causing me trouble. So another thing that I'll be happy when I get out of the top here. But I think I made some pretty good progress on this one too. So here is where this one's at. I'll do an up and down before and after since I got the whole width of the design marked out. This is on 32 count cream Belfast, I believe is called for fabric. And I got all the way to the other side, yay! So this one has a border that's 2 different colors. Every other stitch is a different color. And what I first did actually is I worked this darkest green all the way over here so that I would make sure that this was counted. So then I only have to count especially this far to know where this down border ended up, and made counting a little bit easier. So then I went back into this one and picked some colors I hadn't done yet and hadn't finished in this top area, and then worked those colors there and then in this swag and over here. And actually this is her hand, part of it. There's like 3 colors in her hand, and her hand is like right here, and then this is the start of her arm, which is pretty long. But that's exciting that I know where she's gonna be, and I have some structure to fill in. It's not like an endless top of these branches that I have to fill in. It's like more concrete now. Then I can see the hope that that top will be finished at some point. So for 3 days, I think that was pretty good. And I'm excited to get going on that again at some point and get some more progress done on those swags at the top. So that was all. I think that was all I worked on this week. So I will tell you now the 3 new pieces I will be pulling out for this week. So continuing alphabetical with my Mirabilias, I'll be giving 3 days to Garden Prelude. Oh yeah. Which I put over here. So here is Garden Prelude. This is one of her newer designs. And I have started with her at the top here and a little bit of the archway. I'm thinking I might do some archways just because, again, I want to get the tops finished. And I have her done, not done, but a chunk of her done, about this much. So if I get some of the archways done, then I can just be able to move down. And I like all of this. Some people are not doing the background. I think it's nice. And the fabric I chose is like a dusty gray blue kind of color. So it'll be like sky in the background behind these flowers. And I picked some fancy floss for my flowers instead of the Karen water lilies that are called for. Just have some cottons in my stash. I won't get the flowers this time, but I'm thinking I might focus in on the borders, and if I get on the archways, if I get tired of the archways, then I might do some more on her because I've already got a little start on her. So this is 32 count Wedgwood Lugana by Color and Cotton, and it's a really pretty dusty blue, gray blue color. I really like that. So I have the violin finished. I think that's what I did the last time I worked on this. There's a gap here because that's where her arm will go. I could fill this in on her hair, do more of her skin, more of her dress, more of her hair and bows that go out this direction. There's a few of those things that I could do if I get annoyed with the monotony of those pillars. But I do think I want to spend some time at least on the pillars. So we'll see how much I get done on this in 3 days. So that will start today. We get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the next one I have that I will work on for Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be Lady of the Flag. And this is one I've had for 20 years. This is the original one, not the reprint. I just picked it up at my LNS, not knowing that it would be a hot commodity in years to come. But this is mine, and I have it kind of rolled up with paper clips at the bottom because it's easier to hold. This is Witchelt Stony Point. So it's kind of see-through and stiff, so this makes it easier to hold. All that's down here is more a flagpole, because I started in the middle and worked my way up the flagpole, and then I ended up doing, so all the beading on the flagpole is finished up there. This is some Krynex started. I have her head all the way done, and the torch area are all the way done. I think there's probably some backstitching on her arm, which will need to wait until the sleeves get started. But for this rotation, I'll probably work on the flag, because that's the next tallest place that needs some love before I can keep working my way down. So I'll probably work on blues, maybe some reds if I get bored, but probably mostly blues in the star area. So that'll be fun. This is a nice gray-green color. That's pretty accurate back there. A little darker maybe. That I think her yellows in her dress will really pop off of the fabric. So I'm enjoying that one. That'll be fun to get some work on that flag, because I've seen other people work on the flag and it's really pretty. So, and then I will start my rotation on Roses of Provence. But I will work on this for a couple more days after my video next week as well. So I'll just get a little bit of start on a rotation on Sunday. So this one is a fairly recent start. I think I started this last year. This is on Stonehenge by Color and Cotton. And it's a nice green, sorry, greeny purple. And that's my start on her. I want to get it where you can see the colors nicely and straight. There we go, that's pretty good. So last time I think I finished off her face, and I think that the highest point is the topiary tree over here, but I also want to kind of work on her hair, so because I don't like that she's bald at the moment. And there's a lot of gaps in her skin as well, so I might do a little bit on the tree and maybe some hair also. We'll kind of see where I'm feeling it. So that's kind of what I'll work on at the end of the week and going into next week. So stay tuned. So yeah, this is, again, everything's kind of washed out today, but that's all right. It's kind of the way it goes sometimes. A little bit too bright of a day, but it's got more green than it's showing. As I roll it up, I see it, and it's really pretty to work on because when it's here in your hand, you get to see all the colors right up close, which is really pretty. All right, so I think that's everything that I have to share this week. So I think I'm ready. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting, on my Lady of the Mist, let's see, on Lady of the Mist, these greens, I had to make a note because I forgot to tell you last week. There's like 3 greens in the leaves, and 2 of them are practically the same color. If I stitched them right next to each other, I couldn't tell which was which is really hard, especially not highlighting my chart, to tell where I had already stitched and which color it was going forward. So what I ended up doing is I substituted 580 for 470. So if you have this chart and the thought of having 2 identical greens bugs you, I would recommend switching that 580 to 470. And 470 is in the line of the other greens. They're like 469 and 471 or something. So it's just bam, bam, bam with all the different greens. So I think it will look really nice and actually have more variety in the greens and easier to stitch. So I also have like 1 1/3 inch margins on each side of Lady of the Mist, but I was okay with that because she's a big girl, and the fat quarters at Color and Cotton are a little bit thinner than some fat quarters, I think, and so I'm pretty sure I measured it before I bought it, but I'm okay with that. It is a little bit harder to stitch right along the edge just because there's less fabric to hold on to, but most of her stitching right in the middle will be fine. So anyways, I had to make sure to say that. So going forward, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun this week. I am getting my 2nd vaccine tomorrow, so we'll see how I feel. I may be feeling so crummy I don't want to stitch with the side effects of the vaccine, or I could be feeling medium crummy and all I want to do is stitch. So I could get less stitching time or more. You never know. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful week, whatever you're working on. Oh, and I was going to share my Mirabilia other friends who are doing Mirabilias also. So let me go get my paper and I'll be right back. So I'll put some up here on the screen too, so you can know how they're spelled, but I have a list of everybody I know of who is doing a Mirabilia focus in May also. So first off, we have all the YouTube channels that I know of. We have Terry Lee Crafts and Rose City Stitcher, Kate's Crafting Corner, The Addicted Stitcher, 20-something Stitcher, Angela Stitches, Tina Stitches, The Witchy Stitchers, Gemstone Stitches, and Melina from Count Twice, Stitch Once, and Ladybird Stitcher. Those are the ones I know of who have YouTube channels. And then I have a few also from Instagram. As far as I know, they don't have channels. There's the Volunteer Stitcher, X Stitch Sherry. She is doing Mirabilia Mayhem, I think. 31 new Mirabilia starts, 1 every day. So more power to you. That's awesome. Really pretty to look at on Instagram. Stitchy Fit 36, Fiber Arts Amy, Handcraft by Guylaine, and 2 Mo Stitches. So those are the people I'm aware of who are doing a Mirabilia Mania kind of thing. If I didn't say your name and you have either a YouTube or Instagram channel that I can share with others, let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to share that next week. In the meantime, go give some of these people some love and take a look at what they're stitching too, because it's all really pretty. Lots of eye candy. So with that, I will sign off and hope you have a wonderful week. Happy stitching. Bye.